So I thought that we could talk about the degradation of the perception of one another in the United States of America. Not that this is how we feel about one another. I just want to talk more about what we have been like sort of pushed to believe, even though it doesn't work. You're making a puttanesca for dinner. Good for you. I just had some sauce, spaghetti and sauce I made myself. It was quite good. That Italian vibe is in the air. So we live in a society where I'm gonna recount for you my first experience of being bullied online. Just real quick, I was on Facebook. This was several years ago, and I had started doing, like, speaking of food, I started doing little mini how to cook something healthy in 4-minute videos. And one day, this person left in the comments, you look like a man. It was like something really offensive, and that was my first experience. I mean, not that I took it like personally. I had never been bullied before. But I will always remember that feeling of being gut punched, and it kind of went like this. It was kind of like, "Oh my gosh, who is this person? What did I ever do to them? Do I really look like a man? What are you talking about? Wow." And because I didn't really get that there were bots and there were bullies online. This was at the very, very, very beginning when we started to be subjected to this. And since that time, it actually was really pivotal to me because since that time, I thought about what it's like for kids that have grown up with technology and how it wasn't like that when I was a kid because we didn't have phones, like we didn't have social media, right? So we didn't have all that. But when you're just formulating your idea of who you are based on your experience of what you get back, what kind of feedback you get from the world around you, I was really just so profoundly upset that kids, before they even get a chance to get their sense of identity and being accepted in the world and being supported in the world, like I could handle it because I was a grown up, but for kids to be subjected to hatred and bullying at a young age, really, it's so destructive. So that was my first experience of being bullied online. And I blocked the person. It probably was a bot. Who knows? But I really want to talk about how this whole darkness, this whole era of this evil that we're having to combat all the time, all day, every day, how it's become something that we expect now. We always expect trolls now. We always expect bots now. We always expect, especially on certain social media platforms. Facebook is really bad. I'm barely on Facebook anymore for this reason. And I jumped off of Facebook because January 6, 2021 was largely planned on Facebook and Twitter, but largely on Facebook. So it's become something that we just expect. Say something positive and you're going to be trolled. Be an influence that uplifts people and you're going to be hated. And even I read an article one time about Tom Brady and some of the greatest athletes of all time. And the article spoke extensively about how being the GOAT meant more hatred, more hateful comments than anything else. So the expectation that we have of how the world will respond to us is so polluted with just expect people to hate you. Just expect people to hate you. Just expect that. That's normal, right? And so I'm just bringing this up today on Valentine's Day because I think it's so critically important, and we don't really talk about it that much. We expect hatred. We expect now, because we are subjected to this evil regime day in and day out. We just wake up and we expect, oh, someone's going to pummel us today. The person who's squatting in the White House is going to say something really bombastic and really hateful, and that's just the way it is, right? We just expect it. And I really want to appeal to as many people as I can to get us to get it down in our hearts and souls. That's not okay. It used to not be okay. It should still be not okay. On the flip side of that, with all this being subjected all day, every day with hateful things, because our way of communicating, face it, nowadays is online. In the face of being subjected to all these hateful things, maybe, I call this the law of contrast. Maybe people start to be dying of thirst for love. And maybe that's when, after we have been subjected and pummeled by hatred and bullying and being mocked, right? This person in the White House has normalized that. Maybe it's creating such a huge hunger and thirst for love that whoever starts highlighting love, whoever starts highlighting being positive and being supportive and just being unconditional, in the sense that being able to be trusted to love, maybe that becomes so much. Yeah, that's why the walk was so magical. I agree with that. That's a good point. Maybe now that we've had it up to here and beyond, with expecting hate and expecting fighting and expecting violence and expecting fascism and expecting people to be nasty to you when you drive and expecting people to just be frowning and growling, right? When we stopped talking to one another, that's when we started assuming that everyone was just kind of a negative person, right? And yeah, the law of contrast says when we see something, when we feel something that we really don't want, and especially when it goes on forever and ever and ever, then we start to fight for what we really do want. And what I know from my life experience, and I know you all know from your life experience, what we want is love. Not in the airy fairy, oh, do you have a date tonight? Did you get roses? Not like that. No, that's fine, but it's not what I'm talking about. I'm very astounded when I look at January 6, 2021. Whenever I see video from that day, I can't shake that we're not always referencing that and always looking at that like that was the most horrible display of hatred and vitriol and terrorism that we've ever experienced in our country in our lifetimes. And if you watch video of January 6th, if you can bear it, it's hard to bear. You just can't believe that that wasn't a pivot point for us to say. It was, and it was temporary, unfortunately. That wasn't a pivot point for us to say, as the United States of America, we don't want this hatred. We don't want this hatred. Sage is saying, I met a man who literally drove into the breakdown lane because he just knew someone was going to hit his car. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. I just want to raise our awareness, if I can, in any way possible that I can here today, to a couple of things. And one is that, like that terrible analogy of the frog boiling in the water that doesn't know it's boiling because it's so slowly and eventually it just expires. It's been like a slow burn. It's been like, just expect hatred, just expect hatred, just expect hatred. And hatred is weakness. When we expect hatred, when we feel like hatred is what's out there, we get pessimistic. We get bad attitudes. It's not really our fault. It's what's being just thrown at us all the time. That is by design. Because if you convince a population that everybody is hateful, guess what? People are going to feel isolated and alone. And I hope nobody here feels alone today. I hope you feel like there's love everywhere, even if you don't have a Valentine. We fundamentally are loving beings unless there's something really wrong with us. And we know that we see the most profound demonstration of people that have something wrong with their brains because for some strange reason, the powers that be put them all in charge of America. The law of contrast says once we've had enough with one thing, we really get pulled like big giant magnets. We get pulled really strongly to its opposite. People who have had the most profoundly challenging experiences in life learn to really cherish life. This is why we see that, and you've heard so many times, that people that don't have very much tend to be happier than billionaires, right? Fundamentally. Because life is precious. And life and love go together. So let's think about how we want to be moving forward, how we want to be as a nation moving forward. Because it's almost like this thing that we call love and unity and peacefulness and togetherness, this thing is precious, but it's powerful. And that's what the fascists need us to not do. It's almost like they're on a huge campaign, and this is what we've been subjected to for the past 10 years, this campaign. How much did they bash Joe Biden? It's like the anti-love, It was like we've been subjected to anti-love, anti-love, anti-love. You might call it hate, but it's like, no, I don't want to be love. I don't want to. Can you imagine Donald Trump trying to love Donald Trump? You try to give people a smile when you see them out in public. Yes, it works. It always works. And it doesn't even have to be like a big, grinning with showing all your teeth kind of, just a little smile. Yeah, they still bash Biden. So fascism needs that. Fascism needs for us to be hateful. This is how Hitler got all his followers to follow him. This is how Trump has gotten a huge segment of the population to vote for him. The us versus them is a recipe for, worst case scenario, the discontinuation of human civilization on the planet. We were talking yesterday about this taking away all regulations on fossil fuel burning and even making it, in many cases, they've made it illegal to have like windmills and to work on green energy and that kind of thing. That's hateful. That kind of an overall sort of characteristic or representation of a nation, that's a fuck you to the rest of the world. Let's be real. Let's be honest. Pulling out of the Paris Climate Agreement, that's a fuck you world, right? And we're just being subjected to this all the time. If there's like a pride flag somewhere, they rip it down. That happened recently. Somewhere they took it down because they need you to hate people that might be different from you. And we know what hatred does to a nation. We know what it did to Germany in the 1930s and 40s. We know what it did to us on January 6, 2021. Why we don't talk about it? I'm not really sure why we don't talk about it. They put the pride flag right back up in New York City, and I hope that it's up now. I'm not sure why we don't still talk about January 6th and all the insurrectionists that got pardoned. Because if you watch any video clips from that day, and I wrote a song about it, and I will continue to post it here. If you think back to that day and you watch video of that day, you cannot believe the vitriol. We don't talk about it because the terrorists are loose. I don't know what you mean by that. What do you mean, Lisa? The monks, I still haven't listened to that speech. I think I'm waiting for a moment where I can really take it in, the speech when the monks arrived in DC. I'll do it a little bit later. But I will, but I don't even think I have to really listen to it, even though I will listen to what the monks said when they arrived at DC. I could feel it. I could see it. Trump pardoned the terrorists. We can talk about it, though. It's the media that's not talking about January 6th. Okay, I get you. I get you. So there is a positive side to this. There is power in the way that we respond, and seeing the really hundreds of thousands of people that followed the monks. And I showed you pictures of the monks, the crowd at the Washington Monument. The monks sound like me. Well, I have a guru. I have to give him a little credit. I'm one of the majority. I speak like this because I'm you. I'm like you. I started doing these Substack lives to get that kind of a feeling generated out there. I don't want hatred. I can't watch violence. I never watch anything violent in the movies or anything, which makes me have very slim pickings when it comes to watching anything. Comedy only or something really light and silly. But I know, and even that, we've become desensitized to violence, like in sexual violence on TV, and it's all I ever see when I do come across a television. But I think we've had so much of that. Like when television first came to be, it wasn't violent cells and sex cells, and so you have to incorporate it into your whatever show the screenwriter is writing. I actually went to screenwriter meetings a long time ago because I am a writer, and I was curious as to how do people write screenplays. And I'll never forget when I heard from one of the teachers there, "Oh, if you don't put sex and violence in your screenplay, then they're not going to even touch it in Hollywood." This was a while ago, but it's been that way for a very long time. So just like we've been desensitized from overexposure to violence, there's been a decades-long conspiracy to get us to be in that dark energy. So when we see it, it's like, oh, well, there's somebody got murdered again. And I hate to say that the execution of 2 citizens in Minneapolis, I hate to say that we are numb to that, but we are. I mean, I just wish it wasn't that way, but we are. Because I don't think any of us think about what it is for a human being to be shot point blank, what that looks like. So I really hope, hope you're the most prolific commenter in the chat. Um, Kids see way too much way too soon, and that's what I was starting was talking about wondering how it is for kids to be bullied. It's just normalized. But I think inherently we all know that it's not natural. And I think inherently we're all coming back to wait. What happened in Minneapolis should be shaking us to our core. Not necessarily we should be scared. I don't mean that as much as I mean, oh my God, how could that have happened? How by these people that are saying they're the government. Oh my God. The other thing that this continual beat by beat pounding away at violence and hatred is a way that it is literally banking on us hating one another. The other way that it's affected us is they have set it up. It can't succeed, but they've set it up, incrementally making us desensitized to violence, attempting to desensitize us to one another, caring about one another, just desensitizing us to violence and horrible things, is now these concentration camps. See, it's been a creep. It's been a slow creep. And I really know that they're banking on, and once again, that's literal. They're literally banking on that we'll do this. We'll see concentration camps. This is their thinking, I believe. That we'll see those concentration camps and this is their thinking. That we'll just see, oh yeah, that used to be an Amazon warehouse, but now it's where the concentration camp is. That's what they're trying to normalize for us. What the fuck? They're not detention camps. They're not holding cells that people just stay in for 24 hours and then they're let go. That's not what these are. Yeah, and Jamie Raskin had quite an account when somehow he got through the red tape that shouldn't be there. Those images are haunting me about what he saw. A small room with 60 men in there like sardines, one toilet, barely a shower, food that's rotting or has maggots in it, not being let outside, being kept there, not having access to a phone, to a lawyer, obviously to their families, not being able to tell people where they are. And they're trying to sell it to us. They're banking on, remember what happened in October of 2024 with the hate rally? We called it the fascist hate rally because that's what it was. There are people who have been cult mind controlled to the point, well, there must have been hatred already in there, that think it's good. We're being led by sick people, that is for sure. And so I think that today, I feel like it's really important for us to address this, that the collective need for us to take a stand for love has never, ever been greater. That when you take a stand for love, each one of us as individuals take a stand for love, If we saw a parent being terrible to their child on the street, that you'd be the one that would say, that's not okay, right? I mean, I'm just making that up, but it happens. We need every single one of us to stamp our foot down and take a stand. This is not okay. So people are rising up. We cannot let the haters and the naysayers control the way that we think. If you believe that love is the answer, you're correct. I have a really strong sense that this regime is falling apart the more we see exactly who they are. And I've been talking about the depictions and memes of Pam Blondie as a demon, artist renderings of her as a demon, trying to normalize her behavior is what they've been trying to do. And we're seeing it for what it is now. And it's in such an extreme way that there's no way that any of us can look at that and go, well, maybe they didn't mean it. Because I think we did that. Yeah, she was acting like a rabid dog, that's for sure. I think we let so many things slide because not enough of us were taking a stand for love. We were too busy. I think we let enough things slide that it's gotten to this point, and now each and every one of us, if we feel like we're responsible humans that love humanity and love our country, we got a little bit lackadaisical. But now we need to flood the zone with love. Yeah, they flooded the zone, Lisa's saying. They flooded the zone with bullshit. They flooded the zone with hatred and violence. They tried to normalize it. Remember Kyle Rittenhouse? We can't forget these things. If we sat down and we just made a timeline of all the things that we could remember, and we won't remember all of them, we'll remember a fraction of them, of all the hateful assaults on all of us. Because when it's done publicly, especially, that's an assault on all of us. If we made a list of all the various assaults, hateful assaults that we have been subjected to, we won't be able to write them all down because there's just too many to remember. Yeah, the media has always tried to normalize it. It's getting worse and worse. When they other the other, right? No, that's not, it's never going to work. So we're standing up for love because the alternative means we perish. But that's not why we stand up for love. We stand up for love because that's what we're here for. Love is who we are. They're showing us what we aren't. So if you don't want what they are to represent you, then then it's up to us to show them, to really show them. Sage goes back through her daily journals, keeping a journal of the news. Wow, it's incredible what we forget. Yeah, I agree with that. And I applaud you for doing that because I keep saying I'm going to do that, but I think I get overwhelmed. But I make all those YouTube videos daily now where I do talk about the news. So I'll go back in my videos on YouTube. So we're in it for love. Are you guys with me? I think that you are, and thank you. I know that you are, or you wouldn't be here. And I just heard a horn like to punctuate what I'm saying. Let's make the extra effort. They're losing. And all the while they're sinking, their ship is sinking. All the while that's happening, they're trying to tell us that they're winning. They're trying to tell us. The haters, the evildoers that can only it's like a compulsion. Like they can only do hate. They can only do hate and violence. And they're trying to get us to catch it. No, we're not catching it. We have their number. We have their number. We're here, we're here, we're here. Yes, we're here. Love will keep us together for sure. And together we are America. So I want you to love yourself. Let's do our best to love ourselves profusely, to just feel that love flowing up from us and to offer that in the rallies and our calls that we make to our representatives, and mostly to hold that in our vision too. Pay attention to the love. Bad Bunny, I heard, had so many, he was flooded with so much hatred along with the love, but so much hatred that I saw a short video where he said to his fans, "I had to go away for a while." So we're gonna fix this. We are. So let's remember, together we are America. I'll see you on YouTube. I'll make a video and upload it, and I mean another video. He traded in his fancy car for a Corolla. That's what I have. I have a Corolla. Okay, I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'd like to say namaste and happy Valentine's Day. See you soon. Bye.